Malo Lele, my name's John Paul Faliaki and I'm a New Zealand-born Tongan. My grandma currently lives with us, and because she's an older person, this makes her more vulnerable to COVID-19. My grandma's one of my best friends. She's kind, she's selfless, she's hilarious, and she's resilient. One of our favorite things to do is to go on drives to the beach or to local cafes, have a nice feed, and just enjoy each other's company. If my grandma was to catch COVID-19, it'll honestly be heartbreaking. So we're doing all that we can to make sure that we protect her. We wear masks, we're boosted, and we limit going to social gatherings. And even though that's hard, we do it because we love her. Mo tauhi lele, ke mo ui lele.
Prime Minister of Cook Islands, Cabinet Ministers, High Commissioner Alan Abstead, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bulo Vinaka, Kia orana and good evening. Your Excellencies, first I'd like to welcome Prime Minister Mark Brown on your first official visit to Fiji. Regional relationships such as that between Fiji and the Cook Islands matter for every Fijian, because no one understands our challenges better than our Pacific sisters and brothers. Fijians and Cook Islanders know what it means to live with the threat of the rising sea. We are seafaring people, and we will go to any lengths to protect our ocean for coming generations. When a cyclone strikes or nearly misses our islands, the Cook Islands can be in the crosshairs. We saw that during Tropical Cyclone Sarai. An important dependent as we are, our people share the struggle of meeting the recent price hikes for food and fuel. That is why we count on each other to speak as one of the most urgent threats our people face. That is why we can work together in earnest to find solutions, because we know we share more than challenges. We share a future. Fiji and the Cook Islands, 24-year-old partnership is quite young by most standards. To me, that says the best is yet to come. The opening of your High Commission in Fiji is a testament to that. It is quite literally a solid foundation on which we can build. And I'm grateful and excited for what it signifies. You're in very good company here in Suva. Increasingly, our capital has become a community that includes all our major international institutions. Fiji is the Pacific hub of trade, of travel, of telecommunications, and finance. And Suva is the one-stop shop for all matters multilateral. In one trip to one city, our region's leaders can make connections and coordinate engagements with each other and the world. That could not matter more at the present time. Our world is beset by a new war. Meanwhile, supply chains are straining to the point of breaking. That's all to say a more connected Pacific is a more secure Pacific. As a major producer of food and manufactured goods, Fiji is ready to play a much larger role to support regional nutrition security, or security and trade, and human capital. There are already around 800 Fijian employed in Cook Islands, private and public sector, who contribute significantly to both our economies. Prime Minister Brown, when our borders were closed during the pandemic, neither of us sat back and wished for the best. We pushed hard to reopen our region and ensure that any regional travel bubble reached further than the Tasman Sea. Eventually we succeeded, and thousands of our people are back in jobs they love because of it. I'm confident our pandemic recovery will create more opportunities than our nations can and should seize together. Today is, of course, a victory for unity in the Pacific, but we have much larger mission to unite our region ahead of us. If we can bridge our most recent differences in keeping with our Pacific way, I'm confident that we will be a stronger family for it. And I appreciate Cook Islands' commitment to keeping our Pacific family together. Congratulations, sir, again. Prime Minister Brown, you now have a true home here in Suva. I also acknowledge and commend High Commissioner Armstead and his team for their tireless efforts leading up to this evening's opening. Mei taki, and thank you.
Good evening, Kia ora, Mula, everybody. Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Bainimarama, the President Whips Jr. of Palau, President Panuelo of Micronesia, to our Special Envoy of the Marshall Islands that is here today, Members of Parliament, our Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, members of the Diplomatic Corps. What a great pleasure to meet you all as you arrived to our High Commission. I'd like to make a very special welcome to my Cook Islands family that are here tonight with us, those that have been here in Fiji for many, many years now. And ladies and gentlemen, pula winaka, and a warm kia ora to you all. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here to be able to greet you face to face. It's been a couple of long years where we've been meeting over the Zoom and over the virtual settings. It really is a significant milestone for us, and I guess for many of the other Pacific Island countries, to be able to actually fly and land and meet face to face with our colleagues. I'm particularly heartened to see many familiar faces and new friends among us this evening. So thank you very much for honouring us with your presence. Taka I koe te papa inua, a ka mou ki te pito inua. Hau te marae ki a tapu, e tere ei tō urangi. Ai e koko. Now this is a traditional chant from our homeland and appropriate for tonight's celebration. It means when you journey to a new place, be sure to pay your respects to the people of that place. In that new place, take with you the values of our ancestors. Embrace the ways of your new home. Live with integrity and live with God. Then you shall prosper. How deep is the wisdom of our ancestors, and how fitting their encouragement for our occasion this evening. Today is a proud day for Cook Islanders. This marae that we open here this evening affirms our connection and commitment to Fiji, to this land and to its people. Our relationship with Fiji existed long before the lines on a foreigner's map determined our boundaries. Our ties celebrate common history, culture, kinship, trade, politics, and our shared stewardship of our great Te Moana Nui o Kiwa. The ties that bind our two countries and people have and will always stand the test of time. The most significant of these, our peoples. We have many Fijians who have laid roots in our land, contributing to our economy, our society, and also our sporting prowess, let me tell you. And we will certainly welcome more. I recognize with pride our Cook Islands people here this evening, who are here for higher learning, for business, and some who have set up their roots here in Fiji. I myself am the very proud grandfather of my princess, my Fijian Rarotongan granddaughter, Delilah Heiana. And I look forward to visiting her land next time I come through. But the Bulla spirit and smiles are alive and thriving in Rarotonga, just as our Kiorana spirit and smiles abound here this evening. I had a very positive meeting with Prime Minister Bainimarama this morning, and we have together instructed our officials to prioritize formalization of an expanded bilateral partnership agreement to cover transport, labor mobility, trade, investment, education, and people-to-people ties. Prime Minister, I am greatly encouraged by the opportunities available to us and look forward to working closely with you, the government and people of Fiji, to bring those to fruition in the near future. Fiji holds an enviable place in the center of our Pacific. It is the regional hub for commerce, trade, education, diplomacy, and home to many of our regional and international multilateral organizations. As a founding member of our Pacific Islands Forum, the Cook Islands have long recognized the immense value of Pacific regionalism and our Pacific family. This value is built on the visionary collaboration and the toil of our founding fathers of our region, including Fiji's very own, the late Sir Kamisesi Mara, Nauru's Hamadi Robert, and the founding father of our Cook Islands, the late Sir Albert Royal Henry. The unfailing belief of our founding fathers in our ability as Pacific people to chart the Pacific way, navigate our separate and collective voyages to statehood, and draw strength from each other to ensure the security and prosperity of our people is as powerful today as it was more than 5 decades ago. That unity within diversity, respect and family is the foundation upon which we as a region have grown, and the foundation upon which we can continue to ensure the security and prosperity of our people into the future. We've been told by many outsiders that the Pacific region is a hotbed of geopolitical competition, that the fate of the Pacific region is under threat, and that we are but pawns in the grand game of international geopolitics and global economy. Well, I disagree with these views, and our history tells us otherwise. Our Pacific is a space where the wisdom of our ancestors and our collective efforts have ensured healthy oceans that remain the food basket of our people, existential resilience that the Western world now call on for guidance on sustainable oceans development and climate change adaptation, and integrated societies where a caring concern for humanity and collective responsibility thrives. These existential values and approaches to development are at the core of our Pacific regionalism. For more than 5 decades, our Pacific leaders have welcomed newly independent nations into the Pacific family. We've stood together on nuclear testing. We've negotiated tirelessly on the United Nations Law of the Sea. We've established the Foreign Fisheries Agency. We've cooperated on regional security and ensured the well-being of our blue Pacific continent. Through the Pacific Islands Forum and our respective crop agencies, we've established an interconnected web of regional agencies, cultural exchanges, sporting ties, and networks that is uniquely Pacific and based on mutual respect, trust, openness, and understanding. Our 2050 regional strategy articulates our Pacific Way and Pacific-led solutions. It requires our collective engagement and determined fortitude. We have always been stronger together, and together we can ensure the recovery of our respective economies and the prosperity of our peoples long into the future. Prime Minister Bainimarama, may I thank you and your government for the warm hospitality accorded me on this visit and the support rendered the last couple of years towards the establishment of this mission. I am confident that the close cooperation over many years between our officials on bilateral and regional matters will ensure that we deliver critical benefits to support our respective recovery efforts in the months ahead. Be assured, our opening of this mission in the aftermath of the economic and financial upheaval caused by COVID is testament to the potential Fiji offers and our determination to expand cooperation across the full spectrum of our shared areas of interest in the months ahead. I acknowledge the determined advocacy by the Secretary of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Secretary Herman, over a number of years for the establishment of this diplomatic mission in Fiji. On the eve of COVID, we sent senior diplomat Jim Armistead, a warrior from the island of Mitiaro, which we nicknamed the Mighty Arrows. For the last 2 years, he's had to do that under difficult circumstances to hold the fort and wait until we got here. Well, we got here, and then we appointed him as the High Commissioner. Well done, Jim. Congratulations. Your Excellency, well done on this evening's arrangements. I have to say we couldn't bring the band and we couldn't bring the dance team, but this is just as good as what we're getting now. Remember, the most important ties are people. I look forward to meeting you, Jim, on my future trips here to Fiji, and who knows, you may have contributed to the Cook Islands Fiji diaspora as well by then. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close with my opening. Takai koe I te papa enua, aka mau ki te pito enua. Hau I te marae ki a tapu, I tere ei tō orangi. Be assured of our respect, be assured of our integrity. If God is for us, who can be against us? God bless Fiji, God bless the Cook Islands, God bless our Blue Pacific. Pinaka wakalevu kia manuia.
Want to win more with Digicel International? You can now be one of 10 lucky winners to win $200 cash every week from a $40,000 prize pool. Simply send home $20 or more in top-up or a prepaid bundle through our app or from any Digicel International retail outlet, or send money transfers with ClickX or Digicel International for your chance to win $200 cash. Every week is a chance to win with Digicel International. Promo is valid until August 19 for Australia, New Zealand and US customers only.
I'm honored to be here today to welcome you all to the opening of the Samoa Chancery in Suva. The opportunity to do so is coincident with the invitation of some of our Pacific family leaders to come together to discuss issues of mutual interest and concern. The decision to join the majority of our Pacific community to set up office in Fiji is testament of our support for regional unity and cohesion, and to be part of the collective dialogues for a deepened regionalism. The opportunity cannot be missed to develop and enhance cooperation, and I am pleased to endorse the finalization of a development cooperation MOU between Fiji and Samoa. Honorable Prime Minister, thank you for accepting our request to set up a diplomatic office in Fiji. As the first independent nation, we have been slow to come. However, the delay has allowed us to field one of our most senior diplomats to open this office in Fiji after a long sojourn in New York in the United Nations. Good relations will allow us to pursue many win-win opportunities together. Should there be issues, we will handle them in the same constructive spirit and the Pacific way.
Your Excellencies, it is my great pleasure to be here at the opening of the Fiji High Commission of the Independent State of Samoa. Following the opening of the Cook Islands High Commission yesterday evening, yours is the 10th Pacific Island mission in Fiji. Madam Prime Minister, welcome to Fiji for your first visit as the leader of the Independent State of Samoa. I have said this to you over video call, but now that we're finally together in person, let me congratulate you on making history as Samoa's first female Prime Minister. Your leadership brings new energy, perspective, and dynamism to our partnership. There is no known date for when Fijians and Samoa first encountered one another. We have always shared an ocean. Through the millennia, our people have been connected by marriage, migration, sports, and even war. These days, we keep any rivalry to the rugby pitch. Off the field, we are family because we know each other's challenges and share each other's struggles as only family can. At a time when our region is host to a contest of competing interests, our bond as Pacific nation has never mattered more. Climate action, ocean preservation, and nutrition security are the causes we choose because it is obvious. They will determine our destiny. Most of our citizens live within shouting distance of our shoreline. They are threatened by the same storms and the same rising seas. For their sake, we must speak with one voice, work with one resolve towards the one future that guarantees our security, a world that keeps below 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming. Your new High Commission shows how serious Samoa is about building its friendship with Fiji and ramping up its regional engagement. As I said last night, Fiji is the Pacific hub of trade, travel, telecommunications, and finance, and our capital is a one-stop shop for all multilateral matters. In one trip to one city, our region's leaders can make connections and coordinate engagements with each other and the world. A more connected Pacific is a more secure Pacific. As a major producer of food and manufactured goods, Fiji is ready to play a much larger role to support regional nutrition security, shipping, trade, and human capital. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, I want to especially acknowledge the diligent work carried out behind the scenes by Samoa's resident High Commissioner, Elisaian, his staff, and the Samoan community here in Fiji to make this opening possible. Samoans began this month by celebrating their 60th anniversary of independence. We are grateful to help you celebrate this evening with another milestone for your diplomatic engagement. And I look forward to Samoa's quick recovery as you prepare to open your borders and normalize international travel this August. As I look forward to continuing to work closely with you, Madam Prime Minister, to take our bilateral relationship to new heights and work together to deliver on our Blue Pacific agenda. Papete lava and vinaka vagalev.
Shout out to the successful opening of Samoa High Commission in Suva, Fiji.
James Martin and Peter Russo are your local members working for the South Side. With a strong affinity with Queensland's multicultural and Pasifika communities, they have years of experience serving your local community. Contact James or Peter today. James Martin, State Member for Stretton, and Peter Russo, State Member for Tui. Proud supporters of Pasifika TV and Radio. coming up this week on your Pasifika TV and Radio. Start your magical Monday with Oho Whanonga Whakaaho as Reverend Jason Kioa provides a word of encouragement in Tongan to kickstart your week from 7 a.m. Eastern Time. At 9 a.m. it's time for Sweet Memories from Tonga of Yesteryear as Mele and the team bring you Manatu Melie. 6 p.m. we cross to the Pasifika newsroom for the latest Tongan news from the Kingdom of Tonga, Australia and around the world with Pasifika News. And at 7 p.m. it's our current affairs and magazine program, Talanoa. Tropical Tuesdays are lit as Reverend Jason Kioa leads us in prayer and worship from 7 a.m. with Oho Whanonga Whakaaho in Tongan. At 10 a.m. Pasemata Taunisila V and Fotolina Kioa showcase Tongan culture and compositions, giving historical insights and learnings with Whangunatala I he ngalu ea. At 4 p.m. you can catch the world's first Tokelauan TV show as Hakoha Tonga o Tokelau hits the screen with Sieni, Tito and the team. And at 7 p.m. our partner Broadcom Broadcasting 87.5 FM in Nuku'alofa give us live coverage of events in the Kingdom of Tonga. Wonderful Wednesdays are a joy as Oho Whanonga Whakaaho sets our spiritual compass with Reverend Jason Kioa in Tongan from 7 a.m. Eastern. And at 6 p.m. we head to the Rock of Polynesia with Leo Taongo Niue Onovalu Tolu as Boy Sietu and the team bring us music, news, interviews and information in Whakahau Niue. Throwaway Thursdays have you covered as Reverend Jason Kioa shares spiritual devotion in Tongan with Oho Whanonga Whakaaho from 7 a.m. Then at 6:30 p.m. your weekly dose of spiritual nourishment in Samoan as Aingai brings us Awewhe Ao Ole Talalele. Kitted out by 8 p.m. i Langangana Samoa as Fafongai Levai Motu Onoi checks out the latest music from Samoa with Fika Maile Pese. Fantastic Fridays close off the working week with Oho Whanonga Whakaaho in Tongan with Reverend Jason Kioa. 4 p.m. it's your Pacific Drive, Malue Fiafi with Stuli in Tongan. Then at 8 p.m. our Tongan and Pacific youth are in the whale as DJ Sātui, DJ One Time and DJ Misfit go hard with music, prizes, interviews and dedications till late. Super Saturdays start from Melbourne as veteran journalist Makalesi Kavapalu-Fachi serves breakfast with Leti o Tonga o Melapuane in Tongan. During the day we have live streamed events from our Pasifika community. Then after 3 p.m. the Kumete Kakala serenade your devices. Lisia Teloloma brings us the vocal songs of our Tongan kava clubs. By 8 p.m. it's the love hours for families, friends, loved ones and lovers of Tongan music as Ivy runs your Saturday night request hours on Muka Oi Ofa. Spiritual Sundays we head to church with live stream Tongan services including Park Church Tongan Congregation, Auburn Uniting Church, Mascot Uniting Church and UCA Tonga Parish. Pasifika TV and Radio, connecting generations of Pacific diaspora through stories